Yeah, and we're live. Welcome back to the second episode of the Seismiq Growth Show with your host Parker on my left or right, and myself, Joon.
Hi
We're
guys.
both agency owners, and we started the show to talk a little bit about our journey, get in touch with any other friends out there or any other people like us who wanted to start their agency journey from scratch. Right. So, Parker, how are you doing? It's Thursday already. It's
Yeah,
fast.
it's really fast since the last time we talked and we
Yeah.
live, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And so last
very
time
fast.
Yeah, and last time we talked about, I mean, it was our first episode, so we're just talking about how we started and how that might help our experience, our mistakes. And for today, I think we wanted to talk a little bit about niching down or niches when it comes to agencies, the different types of agencies that are out there. There are many, and even Parker's and myself, our agencies are a little different, although we do work a lot together now. We work on a lot of things together now. So, Parker, can you tell us a little about your agency, a little bit about your agency, and what you think about the suggestion that we always hear to niche down?
Sorry, you cut off for a second.
Oh,
Just for a second. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. What I wanted to ask was about your agency, how you started, so what services you provided, or what industry you worked for or worked in, and what you think about that suggestion that everyone always gets about niching down, or to niche down, or to not niche down.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So, first time, like if you guys remember last week, we talked about how I can get my first client, and I start working for them, and then growing my agency step by step, right? That time, actually, first my first clients, they are uh, the company, the big company, something like that, the bank and the government project, something like that. But then after that, then I realized that I need more clients, right? If you remember what I talked, what I said before last week, that most of my first clients actually they are my relate, right? They related me on my first job, my first company work, something like that, and my family's friend, my father's friend, something like that.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then when after that, then I realized I already work with all of my related, right? All of my relate, and then I need to find more clients. Then I have to looking for the clients at that time. So yeah, after that, then I'm looking for the food and beverage clients, and then the hotels clients, and then e-com clients that time. Yeah, and then I realized that I need to niche down, like June just said. I need to niche down what exactly the typical client I want, that I love to work with, something like that. So yeah, that's the part. And then I start to breaking down, make a list what type of client that I want to work, and something like that. What
Mm.
about you, Jen?
Wait, so you're saying in the beginning you didn't niche down, and then you decided
Yeah,
you.
yeah. In the beginning, it's just my relate, my family's friends, my
Mhm.
partner, my friends'
Yeah.
friends, something like that, my father's friends, and yeah, and then I just go outside, get more client on all needs, from food and beverage, hotels, and even e-com, and something like that.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
so
it's like
afterwards,
multi type of clients.
yeah, so afterwards you decided that you must niche down, and then what you said at the end was what you enjoy or what industries that or what sectors you enjoy working with.
That I love, yeah,
Yeah.
that I love to work with this model, or this business
Yeah,
type,
yeah.
or this model.
Okay, so you decided your niche on what you enjoy, right? That's kind of
Yeah,
what
yeah.
you're. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, for me it was the same. I think maybe because we all started from scratch and we didn't really have mentors, or I didn't have a mentor or anything like that. And for me, yeah, I didn't niche down either. I didn't even really think about niching down. One thing was, so it was, I think a lot of people starting out would feel the same way, is whatever comes, I'll take it. So that was the mindset I was in.
Mm.
And obviously
Yeah,
nothing
and then we
came.
need money too the time. So
Yeah, yeah.
everyone comes,
Anything.
clients come, then we just sign them all.
Yeah. But then I guess I was kind of forced to niche down when the only service that I could provide was social media marketing, right? I didn't know anything else, so there was no other service that I could provide. So I was doing social media marketing, and then I realized that the clients, the most of the clients started becoming or were food and beverage. So they were small. So I guess we started in the same industry, but they were small cafes and small restaurants. And so I guess that's how I did niche down. But how I niched down strategically and profitably was when I realized that there was a big gap when it came to the specific service that I was providing, that I knew I could do well in. And for me, that was local. So what I mean by that is, I started out in Korea. I wanted to work with Korean companies, but my English. So I'm a U.S. citizen. English is my first language. Korean's my second language. So I speak better English than I do Korean. And then I realized that there's this big opening for Korean agencies that cater to foreign companies. So that's what I went for, and that's when I really took off. But
So
what do you?
for the first time you launch or you start your agency, what language? I mean the client's language or the country specific you start
I was all
in
Korean.
Korea.
Yeah, it
Oh,
was
all
all
Korean. So
Korean.
it's all in Korean, not in
Yes.
English.
Yeah, yeah, all in
Okay.
Korean.
Why not? You say that you are in US before you're a US citizen and so many opportunity as an agency owner in US that time. Why you're not start your
This
agency in US that time?
My thinking was, well, one, I was working at a Korean agency before I started my own, so I was
Oh, okay.
already in Korean marketing. The other thing though was, I guess I did niche down. My thinking was when I started my own agency, leaving the Korean agency, I worked with that agency and another one before that, and I worked or met with many other agencies in Korea as well, and I realized the market in Korea is a little different. And then when I was studying, so HubSpot was one of the first courses I took. It's free, by the way. So if you don't know about it, check out inbound marketing courses on HubSpot. It's free and it's great. It's a great start. And I realized that if I provide a different type of service, so a different type of marketing for the Korean market, in terms of from at the very core, it's a little different in my opinion. And I can break through. I can break through. I was wrong though. I could not break through. I didn't. I could not break through into the Korean market. And yeah, so that's why. And then the other thing was for English and the U.S. market. I just felt like I would just be another drop in the ocean. There's just so many agencies
Mm.
out there. I think I read something the other day. Approximately like 500,000 agencies are around the world. And so that brings me to my next point actually about niching down. So what do you think? I hear this all the time. And when I was studying while working on my own agency, I was reading about it all the time. Niche down, niche down, niche down. Do you think it's better to niche down when you start, or niche down completely? I mean, as a business, because I'm not really niche down right now as an agency. So I'm just wondering your thoughts on that.
For me, it's also same. Like if you learn something from when you was a kid, right? You learn a lot of subjects. You learn math, biology, and something like that, and then you niche down to the math only or biologic only, and then you only take a specific in medical something like that, right? So it's all like that for me. So when you start launch your agency or business or any kind of anything you want to launch or you want to do, if you are not sure what kind of niche or target audience you want to hit them, something like that, just start it and open for anything. Who come, yeah, who will come, the clients or partner come to you and something like that. Just open for all of them, and then you will find what kind of business or what kind of activities that you love, And
Yeah.
then from that part or that phase, then you can start to focus or break down the niche. You only want to focus on this niche.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a good
something like
point.
that.
That is a good point. However, yeah, so that's another thing. So if you do niche down when you start, it doesn't mean that's going to be the niche that you stay in for the rest of your business lifetime, right? Things will
Yeah,
change.
but that part, June, it's interesting because in 5 or 6 months ago, my niche is another one,
Yeah,
and now I also focus on another niche, so it's different. It's
yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's different right now. So yeah,
But
that's why if yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
but when you're starting out, you mentioned like we should. I mean, for me too, I take whatever comes because I need the money too, right? But
Yeah.
on the last call, we talked about or I think we did on the last call was how we can start getting clients. And for me, a part of that was big on focused on content, right? On inbound. So if you're just starting out, if somebody's just starting out, should they take the time? Well, they should take the time to research their market, but should they take the time to double down and niche, like become a niche agency or a specific niche that they cater to? That's my question. Because once they do, if they do that, if that's what we think should be the way, then all of their content and branding and positioning, all of that revolves around there. So I want to talk about maybe the pros and cons based on our experience
Mm.
and what we did between niching down from the start and not niching down. And I think one of the first things I would be what we just talked about was the specific market. So if you niche down and you start building out your content and you start providing value to that specific niche or your buyer's persona in that specific niche, you can become an authority figure, or the agency can become an authority in that niche. And I think one strategy based on what I just said that works. I mean, I didn't do it this way, but that would work is referrals. So referrals in that
Mm.
specific niche. Once you build the authority, the content, and of course case studies and all of that should be what you should be working on as a new agency as soon as you start closing any client. But yeah, what do you think about that referrals? Because even today, I don't do it. I don't do referrals. I should. I think I should, but I just never got to it. I think. But I know many other
Mm.
agency owners that
Yeah.
were big on this.
Yeah, that's a good, that interesting things also, Jun. What I talk right now is about when I launched or when I built my agency 8 years ago, right? In
Mm.
Indonesia, 8 years ago, in my city, Surabaya, I mean East Java, Surabaya. Yeah, it's just maybe one or two or three agency that time. So there's no they're so small. The competition is so small in Surabaya at that time. So what I need to do when I offer my service to the audience that time is I have to offer all services, right? I don't specific to one service or something like that.
Mm.
But yeah, it's because of there's no competitor in Surabaya at that time. So we have to open for all services that time. And if you talk about right now, if people want to start their agency, I think because of it's not only in US or other countries, even in Indonesia or even in small city in one country, there's a lot of agency, not only agency but a lot of freelancers, but a lot of graphic designer or yeah,
Oh, hold on. I think I lost you there. Did I lose you? Or did I get lost? Oh no. Alright. I think we got lost over there. Am I still live? Parker, can you hear me? Can anyone else hear me? Okay. I think we got lost. No, I'm facing a little bit of difficulties. Maybe my connection or Parker's connection. So, give me a quick second. Let's see if we can get back online. Ah, okay. So I am still live. Maybe Parker lost connection. Anyway, so I'll wait for him to get back on. But in the meantime, if you have any other questions, oh, we have one from Sian. Is the agency name important when starting a business? For June and for myself and Parker, what does your agency name mean? Yeah, Parker's frozen. I've taken him off the screen, but once he's back on, I'll get him back on. All right, awesome. Thank you, Shannon. Thank you, Doreen. Thank you, all my friends watching and supporting our first attempt at a show on YouTube Live. All right, with agency names, I'm big on names. I love creating names. That's like the most fun that I have for creating any business, and I've created several, and also I've failed at several. For agency names, I don't think they matter. They can matter, but this is my opinion and how I go about it. For me, when I picked the name for an agency, of course, I didn't want to pick a name that was that can be found anywhere. By the way, oh sorry, Parker's joining in. That can be found anywhere. That can be difficult to rank for. That's another thing. For example, if we came up with a name as an agency like Conquer or Undefeated, or these words are weird, but I wanted to come up with something arbitrary, something abstract, that had no search volume. Right, that was one thing. And I didn't want to get confused with anyone else, and I didn't want anyone in the world, not just in Korea where I was, but I didn't want anyone in the world to have that same name. And so I came up with our name, Inquivix, and the story behind it is pretty random. Just mix match a bunch of words together, pulled things from Latin. And hold on, I'm gonna get Parker back on screen. There we go. Parker, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, awesome, awesome. We lost you for a second. So we had a question, and I was just talking about naming when it comes to agencies or even businesses. And for me, I was saying, I don't think it's important. Not that important. What happens afterwards is a lot more important. And part of the fun is building the name. So even if you came up with a completely random name, which I did, there's no definition for it. But it did come from a mixing of Latin words, and it was about learning, right? Well, I forgot the Latin word actually. But it was about learning, and it was also because I wanted for my agency, my first business attempt as an entrepreneur, to learn not just about marketing or running an agency, but just every day. That's just how I want to live my life. And every day I take a look back on the day before or last week, last month, last year, last 10 years, and make sure I'm always improving and learning more and more. Especially with internet today, I don't think there's any excuse. So anyway, that's the kind of background story for my agency name. And what I think about agency names, random is good. But what about you, Parker?
I don't know what the question is.
Oh,
I just
is
got out this again.
is the agency name, so the name of the agency, is it
Oh,
important when
yeah,
starting a
yeah, yeah.
business? Yeah.
Yeah, it's very important. So first time I launched my agency, bro. I choose DR brand agency. Oh, that time it's not DR brand, it's Doctor. It's
Dr.
just like
Brand.
silly something like
Yeah.
that, right?
Yeah.
So Doctor brand, and then I realized I need to make this more mature or something like that. We changed the color of the logo, and then we changed the name from Doctor to only DR brand, something like that. And you know what? I bought I bought the domain that time,
You got
and then I
drbrand.com?
forget.
Oh,
Yeah,
you forgot.
drbrand.com, and then I forgot to continue or to to pay the next year or something
Yeah.
like that. And then now if I want to buy it from GoDaddy or something, I have to pay like $200,000 for that name.
Mm.
So yeah, if you ask me, is it important? It's not only important, but it's also valuable for the future of business.
Auto renewals,
Yeah.
man. You got to auto renew. Doesn't matter
Yeah,
what
yeah. That
domain.
time is that time when I bought it, it's just like 6 years ago, and then yeah, I just bought and just forget. Yeah, just something like that. So now, if you want to visit my agency site, it's drbrand.solutions.com.
Ah, nice, nice.
But
You
yeah,
made up for it.
yeah,
Nice. All right. We
yeah,
have
yeah.
another question. So we're talking all about niche. If you just dropped in, I think one or two more people dropped in. We're talking all about niching when you first start your agency. Why or why not? It's important. Shannon's asking, how do you narrow down your niche and make sure you nail it? It's a good question. Because when I first started, I did not niche down, or not intentionally. So unintentionally, I did end up niching down. So I didn't choose the niche. The niche chose me. And well, all I knew what to do is
Yeah.
most people are
It
going
must
to
be
be,
it must be chosen by niche, not
yeah,
me
yeah.
choose niche.
But
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's good. Good
but I
point.
think I think it also depends on what your specialization is. So for me, what happened was social media marketing was my specialization. So the only service that I could actually provide was social media marketing. That's the only industry that I knew, the only skill that I had. And what happened, as I said earlier, was that food and beverage started coming in. So that's what I meant by the niche chose me, and I didn't choose the niche. But how do you narrow down your niche? Parker had mentioned earlier that he chose just what he liked, what he enjoyed doing, and that's probably why most people start on their entrepreneurial journey. Right? You don't start it so you can work longer than 9 to 5 and make less money when you start out. You start your journey because you want to have that financial freedom, right? You might not have it in the start, but that's time and monetary investment. And I mean, those are 2 points that I want to bring up. But Parker, is there anything else you want to say about selecting niches? Because some people are really analytical. I'm not too analytical, and they'll start doing the brainstorming, they'll start doing the research, and then they'll pinpoint the exact niche that they think is the most profitable, which is also a great way to go about it.
Mm.
I just wasn't like that. I'm still not like that, to be honest.
Yeah, for me, I will stick with what I love, what I like to do, what kind of business I want to work with.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, because
That's for me breakdown.
yeah, I mean, we can't say how to live your life or what to do, but like I said, I started this entrepreneurial journey because I wanted to do what I do. I wanted to live the way I live, and at the time, today, not today because of COVID, and also I have kids, but I love to travel. So I wanted to travel while working, and I think I mentioned on the last call, the very
Oh, so
first time.
you have to make agency in traveling,
Yeah, but
something
that's
like
not
that.
past.
Travel
Yeah.
agency, but not travel agency. Like agency, but focus on hospitality, something like
Yeah,
that.
exactly. If
Or
that's what
yeah.
you're into. So I think in the brainstorming process of niching down, there's two things that you could consider, and that I would do is one, your skill set, and also your experience. So your skill set, what you're good at, and two, what you enjoy. For me, and it
Mm.
sounds like Parker feels the same way. That's how we would go about it. But if you're a lot more analytical, I think you would do the research, check out the different markets, the trends on Google or wherever, and figure out what you believe might be the most profitable. But the point is, at that point of time, when you're first starting out your agency, most likely you're going to be wrong, unless you have like 30 years, 20 years, 10 years plus of experience. Then that might change. But at the very beginning, most likely you're wrong, and you have to pivot. But yeah, I think that's a good question. Um, and then we want to talk about, so what are the other actually, we talked about some pros, but what are some cons about niching down? I have one already for me because I never wanted to niche down. I wanted to be a full service big corporate agency, but one of the things I think would be from niching down is that you would end up losing out on a lot of potential clients as well because you're only in a specific sector or you're only providing a specific service. And I had mentioned before that outsourcing or building partnerships with other agencies as well or other friends to provide or to expand the services that you can provide to ultimately increase the contract size, but also maybe you have a better chance of closing. So, I mean, it goes both ways because if you're niche down and you build and you're doing the content marketing or you're building yourself as an authority figure or you're doing referral marketing, you also have a better chance of closing than compared to, say, a full service digital marketing agency, especially if the leads that are coming in are exactly what you're exactly what they're looking for, right? So if it was, we just talked about hospitality, what if it was a hotel looking for a digital or advertising campaign, and you happen to be an advertising agency or Facebook advertising agency specifically for hotels and resorts or accommodation, right? Versus
No,
this
it's
other
really hard.
agency, yeah. Versus, yeah, it is really hard. But versus this other agency that's a full service agency. They have great branding, all of that. But those are two agencies on their table. They're two choices. Who are they going to pick? Most likely, I mean, there's a lot of factors and variables, but most likely they're going to go for the advertising agency that's specialized in Facebook and only works with hospitality. The other thing to mention, and because there's a lot of things you have to do, but case studies and legitimacy and brand trust, right? So if you're specialized and you're niche down in that specific sector of hospitality or accommodation, hotels and resorts, you're going to be building case studies for every single client you have, right? And so when these hotels come to you and they compare you with others where they have roofing solutions, solar, energy storage, phone cases, they have a bunch of other case studies, but all hotels, great reviews, testimonials, a great performance, who are they going to pick? They're going to pick you, most likely. So I think it does go both ways. The other side of the coin is that once you're a full service digital marketing agency and you have a full list of services you can provide, maybe that hotel is not just looking for advertising services. Maybe they're looking for a full out rebranding, website redesign, landing pages as well for that advertising campaigns, and social media management and content marketing, right? And so it really depends, I think. And I don't think there's a right answer for this because there's plenty of super successful agencies that have niche down in a super specific niche. But yeah, I'm rambling. Parker, what do you think?
Talk about niche. It's not also about the category type of business or yeah, the type of business, but it's also the size of the clients, size of the niche, right? If
Yeah, yeah.
you ask me how do you narrow down your niche, and if you just start your company right now, what I think is you have to check your resources, you have to check your capabilities, your teams, your kitchen, right?
Your
Like your
kitchen.
kitchen
I
is
like that.
ready or not to cook, right? To
Yeah.
cook for to serve the guest, something like that. So at the first time you just start your agency and you want to narrow down your niche, I think you for the category of business or type of business, you can open for all. You can open for all type of business, and then all services in digital marketing or specific on your agency model or agency type. But you can niche down the size of the clients you want to target.
Hmm.
Like this is for the small clients or the medium clients or the big clients or even corporate and even a country, like that tourism of a country, something like that. So you can when you start, you can start from this. If you think you have a good resource, you have a ready cook prepare and the kitchen ready, all the tools, all the equipment is
You're
ready
making me
to
hungry,
cook,
bro.
then you can start to serve the big company, big
Yeah.
clients. So for this part, I think talking about the niche, also talk about the how big the clients we want to focus or we want to target.
Yeah, but I think it's easier said now for you after 8 years and growing your agency to where it is.
Oh yeah,
But you
maybe
forget what it's.
yes.
I think you forgot what it's like when you
Yeah,
start. You're
yeah.
never gonna close a big client. That's like hitting the lotto, because as we know, and I think I brought this up too. Every lead will ask you, "Can I see your case studies and whatnot?" It's super frustrating. Like I mentioned, I related it to graduating from university and trying to get your first entry level job, and on every company they're asking for 2 to 4 years of work experience. Nobody's gonna have that coming straight out of college. So that is another point to make. But that does bring me to, so how do you close the big clients? This is another question that I get often, and I'm sure you do as well. How do you close these global enterprises, these large size enterprises, for 6 7 figure contracts. Um, which brings me to part two of this episode, episode 2-2, establishing your brand. So that's the other part. So I think those are the two things that we first start out with when thinking about starting an agency, and moving forward with that plan. You're thinking about the niche or your target market, your buyer's persona, what services you're going to provide, and how you're going to get those clients. And for me, it was all about branding. And so how do we establish, or yeah, going back, how do we close those big clients, and how do you establish a brand or an agency, an agency's brand? Tell me, Dr. Brand.
No, doctor is now
That's the
DR
old one.
brand.
Sorry, it's VR brand.
Yeah, it's DR brand. It's like a movie or cartoon, something, Doctor Brand, right? So and the color that time, I remember it's
Yeah,
like
very.
green,
Mhm.
green something, light green something like that.
Well,
So
yeah,
yeah,
that actually
it's
answers the
exactly
question.
same like this. The color same like this. It's same exactly.
But that answers the question partially. How do you establish your brand? And what you did was you had the small clients, as you said before. You were closing small clients. You wanted to go after bigger ones, and you realized that your brand name and your brand logos, and your branding, all of that was a little bit, what did you say, cartoonish or amateurish or
Cartoonist, yeah,
cartoonish?
like just like it's not formal, or it's not serious or something like
Mm.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
So when I realized that build agency or offering the service for the clients, it's must be serious, right? So yeah, that's the time when I change all the brand. If you want to see my old company profile video and compare to today's company
Oh
video,
yeah,
is really different.
yeah.
And if you check our Instagram drbrand.id, that time, you can scroll and see the old post, like 6 or 7 years post before, and today's content is completely different.
Hmm.
You can our website also different. First time when we launch our drbrand.com, they dokter in Indonesia, doctor in
Ah, okay.
Indonesia, brand.com, and all of the copy is in Indonesian, is in Bahasa. And then we start getting client from global, and then I think I should change the website from Indonesia to English.
Hmm.
Yeah, that part, that the things, I think, when I realize I need to change all of things, and change the market, change the target audience. Yeah, that's
I like
it.
this, Chef Parker. Sorry, this
Yeah,
is a little late.
usually
The
they call
comment was a
me
little late.
Chief Parker, and now Chef
Chef
Parker.
Parker. You're working in the kitchen. Yeah, I remember my first website. It was horrible, and it was all in Korean at the start until I realized I felt
Yeah.
the same way. I realized that I can capture a better audience. The competition was less, so that brings me. Sorry, I want to go back and talk about niche. I completely forgot about competition. So it's not just about the volume or the trends or whatnot, but competition is a big aspect of that. And you do need to, if there's a lot of competition, it doesn't mean it's not going to work, but you do need to make yourself stand out. And how you do that, we can continue talking about in a second. Jareen has a question. Have you ever thought of going full service again now that you've already niched down? Actually, I've never. I guess I did social media marketing and food and beverage. So that was where I was, and also Korean local into bringing foreign companies into Korea, right? And now we've expanded to multiple countries, which is how I'm working with Parker as well. But full service, yeah, we are a full service digital marketing agency today. And the way I was able to do that is in the beginning, and this might be for another time, another episode 3 maybe. I just because we're winging it. By the way, we're watching. We're really busy, so we're just winging episode by episode, but kind of going
I
through the
even
thought
not
process.
yet. I even not shower yet, bro.
Thank
I
you
will
for
after
the
this.
information. I was wondering what the hell that smell was, but but
Maybe smells curry or pizza curry. I saw at the back.
Yeah. But full service. So the way I was able to become a full service marketing agency, and I've always wanted to be, and versus when I first started, the only thing I could provide was social media marketing. One of the things was I mentioned I didn't niche down into a specific industry, but the only service I could provide was social media marketing. And then I noticed over time that 90% of the clients that I was getting, all small clients though, were all food and beverage. They were all small cafes and small restaurants. And over time, this is another pro of, or a benefit or a pro of niching down is you start to become an expert. Hopefully, you're already an expert though. That's because you're providing services. But because you're doing it for or one niche or one industry or one sector over and over again, and you're constantly working in that field, one, you're on top of things because in the digital world, everything moves so fast, right? And so you're always on top of things versus an agency that is trying to do everything at once. Of course, they might be bigger than you. Um, but yeah, I lost my train of thought while I was talking. Sorry.
Oh, bro, but what one thing,
Yeah.
one interesting thing that I just find right now is after 6 years or 7 years or maybe 5 years, I run an agency. When all clients came to my agency and then signed or deal with us, and we start work that time. Today, it's not just about the agency, by the way. Clients also contact me. It's because of me, because of Parker. They maybe they find me or they googling me and something like that, or googling about the specific industry or specific service, and then they find my own website, my personal website, parkercasio.com,
Hmm.
and maybe they also find my Instagram. So right now, to find the client, it's because of the agency. When I built the agency, and then I also built my own personal brand that time. So also client also came to me, contact me from the personal brand also
Yeah.
to offer the service to them.
I've never
Yeah,
had that.
that's yeah.
I've never had the luxury of creating a personal brand. I am trying. I am trying now. Trying to find some time to work on that, which is why I might be doing this YouTube show. But I just want to finish answering Joreen's question about would I ever go full service? And I was mentioning how we were able to, or how I was able to, that the bulk of the clients were food and beverage, right? Small restaurants, small cafes. And we were doing social media marketing for them, but it was just about the management and some of the ads because they're all small companies, so the ad spend was also small. But the number one request I had over and over from all of these companies were, hey, do you provide any photography services where you can come to our restaurant or our cafe, take some pictures? So
Mm,
to upgrade our social media content, because at that time I was just getting the images from them and working on the content strategy, the captions, the scheduling, and the graphics, right? Based on all the content they were
mm,
sending me, and I realized that hey, I should contact that guy that took pictures of my family, last month, and see if I can work something out. And so that was the start of my first time starting to outsource things. And I let the client know though, most of the time, with especially with photography, because they knew I didn't have a studio or anything like that. That I would let them know, hey, this is a partner agency or a sister agency or a really good friend. And we can work something. We give them a rate card. Obviously, the prices are relatively cheaper, or I get a better price. So I also get some money off of that, and I was able to expand the services that I can provide. And so one by one, I would continue doing that because once I get the pictures, then they're asking me about this or that or PR campaigns or anything else, right? And so we start adding more and more on. And then when you have enough money or you have enough clients and you can reinvest a lot of that profit to expand your own in-house team, then you can start really become a full-on full-service digital marketing agency. So that was
mm,
kind of the path that I went. Of course, it sounds simpler than it is because I've had a lot of problems along the way. But if I can summarize that journey, I think that is it, and that's how I would do it. Of course, I would skip out on a lot of the burn cash and headaches with the experience, of course. But um, anything to add on to that, Parker? Full service versus
for
yeah.
Yeah. If Joreen asks, have you ever thought of going full service again? In my mind, I think if they came to us and then they offer big budget, I think I will get it. Even if not, in my service price on the website or the company profile, I will help them. That's
Mm.
why yeah, we offering the we solve the problem from our clients, right? So yeah, it's depend on the budgets, I think, because like I said before, right now our niche it's more in medium and up clients, not anymore take uh, below a budget. It's not because we don't want below budget, but our resources team, our tools, our experience, and our knowledge and something like that, it's we need more budget to do this, because
Mm.
in my experience, before we can get the big clients with the high budget, like right now, we start with the small budget, right? I remember I start with only $100 a month for
Yeah,
create a
yeah.
full month, full day, 30 posts in Instagram and copywriting and scheduling and something like that. And yeah. Oh my god, I forgot. I have to say. I won't say what. It's just same like you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been
That's
a long
why,
day.
Jorin. Yeah, if people or if clients came to me and then ask, Parker, can you do this for me, something like that, and I think I can do that, I will ask the budget how much, or how ready the
Mm.
budget for to do this. Then
Yeah.
I can say yes. Oh yeah, I remember now. It's because what, if we start with the small budget, or yeah, less budget to do the campaign, it will not going well in my side also, right? As
Mhm.
agency, when we want to do the campaign, the client wants the size like this or the result like this, but the small is too small. It will be not. We cannot hit that result,
Yeah.
right? So if clients came to us and then we don't get result for them, then yeah, how much or how ready you
Mhm.
to prepare the budget for this project, something like that. So yeah, it's not about the going full service again, but it's depend on how we can offering the service, or we can solve the problems of our clients.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that, I think one thing to add on, because we're talking about niching and niching down, is
Mm.
that if you do niche down, most likely, because for me with social media marketing and food and beverage, doing that over and over again for various cafes, of course, the campaigns were all a little different, but it's all in the same industry. And one of the things, one of the benefits, or one of the things you should be doing, is trying to not necessarily productize the service, but because you'd be going through the same stages in terms of workflow, in terms of deliverables, in terms of the types of KPIs that you need to hit, if you can make sure that this system or this flow is constant, is almost the same at its core, because every client's going to be a little different, then you can really start to optimize things in terms of your workload, your team or your future team's workload, and be able to scale and really double down on that niche. Thinking back, I think that's what I would do. So I just want to throw that out there. I have another question. All friends of ours, all good friends of ours. Hold on. Do you have interactive know-how to contract with your customers? So signing or closing customers, I think. And let me know your charm so I can follow you guys. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. How do you close? I
I
mean,
found my charming after 2 years, I think. And I really passionate, and then I can really easy to close the clients.
mhm.
After 2 years, I start my agencies. Yeah, it's 2 years, I think.
For
Two
me,
years.
yeah, I think so. I think 2 3 years for me too. Even today though, I mean, I'm not super confident, but I'm a lot more confident than I ever was when I started. Because I have a little bit of or I have a lot of anxiety issues. Even doing this live is really difficult. So thank you for supporting. But
Mm.
um, I remember, like I said, I think I was on the last call. I'm too anxious to go out and because I was doing a lot of offline stuff, right? I was trying to go out to the cafes and the restaurants, show them my little business card, and let them know that I provide these services.
When you talk like this, my mind is reminding my
Uh,
activities like 7 years ago when I knocked the door of cafes.
Yeah, and but the thing is, one thing that I learned when I was a child, from teachers, my parents, and one thing that I tell, and the same thing I tell my daughter every day, is that practice makes perfect. So for me, I was very scared to speak. I couldn't do offline meetings. Even the first online meeting, I still remember. I think I was using the 720p webcam, the native webcam, to my MacBook and my MacBook speakers, so there was echo all the time. Right? We Parker and I both have headphones on, closed back headphones, because
Yeah.
we don't have that echo. But I remember the first calls too. I didn't know what to say. I just wasn't good at it. But over time, it's the experience, and you get to start seeing similar questions come up. But also, I think the biggest point. So, what's the charm, or what's, I don't know, the secret ingredient? I think for me is to listen, and kind of think two steps ahead, and see their to understand how they might react, right? To see two steps ahead and address that from the start. So I'm not saying I read minds, right? I could be wrong many times, but over time, I think I start to have a feel for it, and I already know how to reply, and how to cater to each and every client separately. So that's why, because one of the first jobs I ever had was cold calling. For real estate. That was like when I was 18 or something, 17, 18. One of the first jobs was cold calling. Um, and you work off of a script, but for sales, for me at my agency as well, I just don't think that works. That doesn't work. Just like with cold outreach, or anything you do, especially in the marketing space, you'll hear the term personalization a lot. By the way, personalize, sastronautics.com/personalize. It's a WordPress plugin. You can personalize your website very easily by simple code, not even code. It is simple text, dynamic placeholder, and you can personalize your websites for your audience. So when a user logs in or lands on your landing page, you can say, no longer will it say, "Hey, you," right? Or, "Are you thinking about this?" It's not that. You can personalize it with a simple line of text, and it can now say, "Hey, Parker, blah 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 blah," right? So that's really cool. We have a lifetime deal on it. If you want to check it out, I will leave the link below soon. But yeah, so personalization, super important, and that's why I feel like cold cut sales scripts don't work. And just going back to simplify my answer and answer the question, what's my charm? It is understanding the pain points of who I'm speaking to, and trying
Mm.
to think two, three steps ahead. Because one, you're giving them answers. They know you understand them. So, having that emotional intelligence. But two is, they start to trust you. For me, my experience has been, they start to trust you, and they feel that you are an authority figure, because it's like, you almost know what they're thinking already. So I don't know if that makes sense. I'm not saying I'm a mind reader, but that's what I
Mm.
think really helps on sales calls more than anything else. Hey, we'll make you $1 million, right? That's not it, I think. And I never hard sell.
Yeah.
I'm not a hard seller. Yeah.
Yeah, if June talk about the cold email, cold calling, something like that, what I did, I meet face to face with clients. So when this question, do you have interactive know how to contract or sign with the customer? If me, if I sign the deal, before I sign the deal, we need to meet. I met with a lot of client, a lot of type of client, a lot of type of business, and I remember one thing, that one, or not one, but so many clients, my clients, talk to me like this: Parker, when we talk with you, we are really confident and we are really trust. Like,
Hmm.
you have knowledge, and you have knowledge what you need to do for us to help us. Your what is it? Your solution or your offer for us is really same like what we need right now. So um, if because if we talk like, for example, June talk with the clients by phone or by Zoom call, or by email, something like that, maybe they can't see or they can find or they can see June face in live, right? Like we talk face to face, something like that. But if you, uh, like me, when I have to close client face to face, eye to eye, something like that, I think the most important thing is your knowledge and what can you do exactly specific that time. Because if right now in the pandemic like this, most of us work and meeting online and by Zoom call. Maybe we have time to think what we can do for clients. Maybe next week, then we can call again and we explain this part or this strategy that we want to do. We can do for the client, something like that. But if you meet the clients directly at point, I mean face to face or eye to eye, something like that, what you need to do is you have to you have you have to, I don't know what to say.
Just say it
You
in Bahasa.
have, yeah, I want to talk in Bahasa right
Go
now.
go ahead. We'll
So
put this up.
okay,
Subtitles.
okay, okay. I mean, when you talk directly to client face to face, you need knowledge of what you will offer, right?
Mhm,
For example, if you run an agency in digital marketing, then all of in digital marketing, not only your niche or not only specific part you understand, but all of things you have to know. Because when you meet the client, they will ask you directly, I have problem like this, what can I do for this, what can you help for this? And if you don't know what to say, and then you will not sign the contract.
yeah.
So yeah, that's the point. Some of my clients, when we worked, and then I asked for them, Miss, why you pick me? I am just the 8 years agency in Surabaya, not in Jakarta, the capital city of Indonesia. They said, uh, they not only meet me or DR brand, but also made a lot of agency in Jakarta, even in Singapore that time. But they pick me, they deal or they sign with me because of I can give the solution directly that time
Mhm,
with my knowledge of digital marketing for them, right? So if Suyon asks about, do you have interactive know how to contract or deal or sign with customer? That's the knowledge of what you can offer for them.
mhm,
If you can give them their knowledge and value, no value or the solution or even the yeah solution, they will sign.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that brings me to another point. Actually, when we talk about establishing a brand, and I feel like it's a point that we'll bring up on every call, is that providing value. Providing value is probably for me,
Yeah.
my experience, and I think for most agencies, the best way to generate leads and the best way to close clients. So on that sales call as well. So for me, I was talking about understanding the client, and so Parker added on to that by providing the value to the client, even on the sales call, right? Providing the knowledge and the value, so that they trust and they understand or recognize or acknowledge, not acknowledge, they'll trust that you can deliver afterwards as well. So I think that's a big part of it. That's a good point that I didn't bring up. Um, but yeah, for establishing brands, that's I think one last 5 minutes to talk about. And the thing that I brought up last time also, so content. For me, it's all about the value. So providing value, not just keyword stuffing and SEO blog posts, but actual value providing to your audience. And if you've niched down,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, the
That's
actual
the another point, another part that we need to talk.
yeah, I mean, because you can generate leads and build SEO with just not nonsense but half nonsense SEO only blog posts. But I think we lost Parker again. But I think providing value and speaking, and I bring it up all the time, providing value, speaking to your audience, and not just speaking to the audience, but understanding. So going back to the same thing as a sales call. So that philosophy or thinking, way of thinking, applies to everything that you do, but understanding their pain points. So if it's a cafe or restaurant, what are the pain points? And for me at the time, it was social media. So what are they looking for? Of course, they're looking. Oh, Parker's back. They're looking for more followers, of course. They're looking for more likes. But why are they looking for more followers? Why are they looking for more likes? They're not looking for likes from India or for a Korean client from the United States, from Europe. They're not just looking for likes, right? They're looking for likes to build a brand presence, so to get known, so to get bigger reach. But ultimately, they're looking for followers and likes so that they can get those customers into their store, right, into their restaurant or their cafe and purchase. And so that's all about providing value. And value is not just a blog post. It's not just answering a question. To me, I also feel that visuals, so if we're talking about Instagram, which is what we used to do, or we still do, but what we specialized in or only did actually when I first started, visuals can also be value providing. Actually, Parker's Instagram and DR Brand's Instagram is a good example of that because they talk a lot about what their clients need. But yeah, so you should check it out, drbrand.id, right? Am I right?
Yeah.
Anyway, welcome back, Parker. I was just rambling to our single digit viewers. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you for supporting us on our little attempt at live streaming. But yeah, establishing your brand and value providing. That was, for me, it's the same. Of course, there is, branding, positioning, messaging, even case studies. For me, even proposals, invoices, all of that to me is part of branding. I don't know if the experts talk about it like that or agree with me, but for me, that is all branding to me. And then with value, it's not just about blog posts, like I said, but social media and everything. Any place you can on a single sales call, that can also be providing value, especially if we talk about referrals, right? Because if your agency is working, if you're niche down in a specific niche, hospitality, nonprofits, even whatever the case, and you're working solely on referrals, because I've read some stories about this the other day. If you're working solely on referrals, that's super powerful. Actually, that one-to-one, that one single sales call or a client follow-up call, super important. But yeah, anyway, DR Brand, Mr. Dr. Brand. Anything else to talk about when it comes to establishing brands? As an agency, establishing agency brands.
Not Doctor DR.
I'm going to call you Dr. Brand all the time.
Hear me.
Yeah, can you hear me?
I
Dr.
think
BR and.
Yeah.
You hear me? I guess not.
Yeah, I can hear.
Okay. Yeah, any other things you want to bring up? I think you might be having some connection issues over there.
Yeah, I think. Oh my God.
It's okay. It's the last 5 minutes. And we're just going to close out, I think in 2-3 minutes, but I want to wait till Parker's back up. So Parker, just let me know when you're good to go. What was I saying? Yeah, so just to recap today what we were talking about. Parker, just cut me off if you're back. But just to recap today, what we talked about is when we start an agency, one of the first things we would do, or you might have a question about, is to niche down or not niche down. And actually, to me, there is no right answer, but there are pros and cons to both. Some of the pros about niching down is that you are specializing in a specific service, and you're building, you're able to build an authority, because if you're doing any inbound marketing, content marketing, providing value to your audience, all of that's going to be around that specific niche. The other is that you can start to really optimize your workflows and the performance as well. And you're also working on that all day, every day, over and over again. So you'll be on top of things compared to a full service agency where they're doing multiple things at once. But one of the cons that we had mentioned, if you niche down in a specific niche, is that you are limited in terms of contracts, or not necessarily contract sizes, but limited in the scope of work that you can provide. And so that may or may not be able to help you close the deal. So the two examples that we had brought up is that if you're niche down in, let's say, hospitality and Facebook advertising, and versus an agency that is not niche down at all and they're a full service agency and they do just everything. If you find we lost Parker again. It's okay. If there is a hotel, so there's let's say not a hotel franchise, but a single boutique hotel, and they're specifically looking for Facebook ads to generate leads or to bring in, to get reservations, right? To get conversions. they're obviously going to most likely go with you because that's exactly what you do. And if that is what you do, Parker's joining in. And if that is what you do, you probably already have case studies all around hotels and resorts for Facebook ads and how well you've done, right? Whereas maybe it's a boutique hotel and they need rebranding, they need a website redesign, they need ads as well, but maybe they also need the SEO work. Then most likely you're going to lose out on that contract because this one's different case by case, but maybe they're looking for they're probably not going to want to go a little bit with this agency just for the ads, a little bit with that agency, and a little bit. They would rather have a full service agency where they can pay the retainer or pay the service fees or pay the performance fees and just let the agency handle it, right? So there's the pro and cons to think about. But Parker's back. Let's see if his internet is working. You back?
I'm sorry, guys. Oh my God.
Okay.
I
Mr.
don't know. Maybe it's because today is a big celebration in Indonesia.
That's right.
So
How do you
people just use the Wi-Fi or
YouTube?
internet
Why
connection.
aren't they
and- oh
watching
my
our
God.
show if they're on YouTube?
Yeah.
We're
Oh, by the
providing
way,
so much
for
value.
all people who celebrate the Eid Mubarak
Yeah.
day today, happy for you guys. Yeah, and also for the my friend Christian friends that celebrate. What is the name in English? June, I forget.
Which one? Which
Oh my God. I make a post and then I forgot where I check. Oh, the Ascension Day. Oh
Ascension
yeah,
Day? Okay.
yeah. The Ascension Day for the friends, Christian friends, and Eid Day for the Muslims friends.
How do I
Happy
pronounce
for
it
you guys. Yeah,
for the Muslim friends? Eid or Eid?
yeah. Eid,
Eid.
Eid
Eid Mubarak.
Mubarak. Yeah,
Eid Mubarak,
yeah.
everyone. And I think
In
on that
Indonesia
note,
we said it Idul Fitri.
what? How do we say
In
it?
Indonesia we said Idul Fitri.
Idur Fitri. Idur Fitri,
Yeah,
guys. But I think on that note,
yeah.
we're going to sign out and we'll be back next week, Thursday, talking about something else because we're winging it. But if you have some topics you want to talk about, you're always welcome to join us. You can get on our call or you can drop a comment down below or get at us on Facebook or our Discord channel. Discord channel is in the description and shoot us a message. That's it for now. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for supporting us. And I'll see you guys next time.
Bye bye, guys.
Bye bye.